we're going to make a simple peacock. So I've done peacocks in different ways. And this one I used half a circle to represent the tail feathers. But this one I might do a little different. But we'll start with the head and the body and we'll see where we go from there. But anyway, I like to start with just a lump of clay. And I always roll it around to work in all the uneven bumps, rolling it in the palms of my hands in a circle. And then I extend it into a carrot shape by bringing the ends of my palms together, but leaving the top part of my hand by the thumbs separated a little bit. That creates kind of a V shape with my palms, and that gives you the slick, sleek, slim neck. And then it goes into the body of the peacock. So I'm going to take that narrow top and bring it down and around. And I'm going to finesse and work out some of these little creases just by patting it. There we go. It's just smoothing it so simply. That will become the head. And then the extended long neck. Okay, and the body. All right, so now I'm going to make a super tiny little pinch for a beak. Every time you attach two pieces of clay, I need to attach the beak on. I'm going to take my needle tool because it's so small, and I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to scratch with the wet end of the needle tool the end of the clay, and that is how I will attach the clay, the beak, to the head. There we go. Just a tiny one. I have on hand here a little pencil to make the little eye sockets. And you can either leave the eye sockets that way, or you can even take a super tiny bit of clay, just a super tiny bit, in my fingernail and make little beads. And they're so tiny, I usually end up making extra because I almost always lose one of them. But I'm going to use the tip of the needle tool to drip a little bit of water in, and then poke at one eyeball, stick it in the eye socket. There it is. A little bit of drip of water in the next eye socket. Poke at the next eyeball and put that in. There. So now there are eyeballs in the eye sockets. They always have a little bit of a plume on top. I just take some clay and roll it back and forth and curl the end of it to represent the plume. So we'll scratch them with that on. I'll wet my little wire brush here and scratch that a little bit and stick that on. There. Okay, so now we've got the body, but now I'm going to roll out with a rolling pin the tail. The tail is the biggest part, the grandest part of the peacock, and I'm going to roll this back and forth and keep loosening the clay from my canvas board so that the clay doesn't stick, and then decide what kind of a tail I'm going to make. It's nice and flat. If you have a little baby at home and you want to have the baby's handprint in the clay, and that could represent the tail of the peacock, you can just trace a circle. I've got a little circle stencil here. I think this would be about the right size. I'm going to cut that out. Cut the bottom straight. Pat my edges. I can't stand sharp edges when you're working in clay, so we should always pat the edges smooth. And then if you want it to be not really realistic, but sort of realistic, they have a lot of lines going through their tail. And then there's a lot of circles also. Ooh, I got this. This is just a broken tool, and it happens to have a circle on it. And there's a lot of eyes in a peacock's tail. So I'm just going to press this in here and there. So you can just look around the house. Even if you take apart a ballpoint pen, you're going to get a similar hollow circle to this. And that would make the eyes on your peacock's tail. And then you can scratch and wet it to the body. So I'm going to take the wire brush, get it wet, and wet the back of the body also. Press it together. And then, there we go. And now this could just be a simple little decoration, and if you want it to stand alone, you'll have to curve the tail a little bit. You can see how I'm kind of curving the tail so it stands alone, but you could also watch the cylinder video that I did and score and slip the back of the tail to a cylinder, and then that becomes your pencil holder. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.